Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for this video, I will be sharing another scrap with me process in my 12 by 12 album. I will be doing another pocket page to match a scrapbooking layout that is already in the album. And so the pocket page that I will be working on is this one right here. And the layout that matches this, that I'm creating this to match, is this one here. It is from my Disneyland trip with my friend, and this photo specifically is from Disneyland California Adventure, and I use the Coco Vanilla Studio Midnight Collection for this layout. The only thing that's not from Coco Vanilla is the background paper, which is a Felicity Jane paper, but it matched really well. And so for the pocket page, I'm keeping solely to the Coco Vanilla Midnight Collection. This little good piece is actually from the Bohemian Dreams collection, but everything else is Coco Vanilla Midnight. And yeah, I will be documenting these photos of the Santa Monica Pier and beach that I took on that trip. The photos were already in my pockets, and so I just decided to just leave them like that and place them next to the layout, so I'm using the same collection so that they can both match. So yeah, so that is the pocket page that I will be creating today. I really hope you enjoy. So here I am showing you the layout that I will be creating this pocket page layout for. And I'm using, again, the Coco Vanilla Studio Midnight Collection. So I have all the pieces here. I have the 6x8 paper pad, I have the clear stickers, I have the cardstock stickers, I have a tray full of ephemera and chipboard, and I have some flair from older collections, older Coco Vanilla Studio collections that also match. And so this is the pocket page that I will be working on. I already had my photos tucked in to the pockets, and it's like the back side of a page that I already did, and you see the papers that I have there. I'm just going to cover them up. I'm going to use completely different papers, and I kind of kept my photos in this, like the layout that they were, or tucked into the pockets, and so I think I end up moving things around a bit, but I start doing that. This took me a very long time to figure out exactly how I wanted this layout to look. At some point in this process, you'll see that I completely wipe my canvas and just start over. But yeah, so I'm using the 6x8 paper pad. That is all I have from the Midnight collection in terms of paper. And so I make all of my cards with this paper pad. Since it's 6x8, I can just cut it in half and get to 4x6 cards, and then I can cut those in half to get the 3x4 cards. And so since my layout is from my Disneyland trip, I put some photos from California, like from me and my friend just kind of went sightseeing in California before we went to Disney. I put that next to that layout because I didn't really have any other Disney type photos to scrap for in this pocket page album, and so I decided to match it with these sort of like really just pretty random outtakes basically of my time in California. And so the papers that I pulled out, I wanted to kind of match that black and white font that I had on the layout. So I pulled out the script pattern paper from the 6x8 pad, and I thought I was going to use that, but I also pulled out a pattern that is kind of like driftwood, which I thought would match like better, because I think all of these photos actually are of the beach in Santa Monica. So I end up actually using the driftwood pattern paper. I also use the black and white script, but I end up using it not as a base page or base pattern in my pockets, but I picked it out because my layout has the typed, like it's kind of like it's a Felicity Jane paper, but it's like typed words in the background, and so I kind of want to complement that sort of element in the pocket pages as well. So yeah, that was my intention here. Right now I'm just kind of putting all like random bits down, the ephemera, everything, but in a moment I end up scrapping almost everything because it just wasn't working out. At some point I ended up cutting a different page, which was like a white base page with some, it looked like watercolor. I do end up using that, and I think I cut it in half. I think, I don't remember. Oh yeah, you can see here I did cut it in half. So I'm laying down the patterns that I decided that I was going to use. I don't remember, I can't recall right now as I'm doing this voiceover if I settle on that, but I wiped what I was working on because it just wasn't working. It just, I don't know, nothing. I like balance and I like symmetry in my pocket pages and in my layouts, and it just wasn't working. So I cut up some more papers. I cut up some, that black and white floral and the pink and white stripe, and again that sort of watercolor looking paper, and I laid out my cards. And here I'm just doing very simple photo clusters. I think I layered up some white tissue paper, and I cut up that script paper, and you can see it there behind those two photos, and then I layered a doily behind both. So I basically did the exact same thing for both photos, because they're going to sit opposite each other on that driftwood-like paper. And you know me and symmetry, I think all of my pocket pages have at least two pockets that sort of mirror each other on the different ends of the pockets. And so here I pulled out, this is a mixture of the chipboard and the ephemera die cut pieces, and I made a couple of clusters of florals around those photo clusters that I made on the pockets, and I'm just kind of putting down ephemera that I think I want to use on the pockets. So I have those jars, those little mason jar pieces, and some hearts coming out because it's going to be a filler pocket, and then I have on the Santa Monica photo I put one of the paper frames, and then on the card next to it I put a piece that I think I cut out from the 6x8 paper pad, and it says "Live the life you love," and I layered some of the paper frames behind that as well. And so my intention was that these 3x4 cards in the center are all going to be like a filler, except for the one that has the photo on it, of course, and then the one that's white based with sort of like the watercolor effect on it, I was going to do my journaling. And so yeah, so that's sort of how I laid out everything. And here I am playing with that photo cluster on the bottom. I'm actually settling on that. I like how that looks. So I taped down the floral pieces, and then I taped the whole thing to the driftwood paper. So that is done, and I'm doing the same thing on the card on the top right, which is the one that mirrors the one on the bottom. So once those two cards are done, I start working on the top left, and I knew that I wanted to use these chipboard pieces as like a title, and so I kind of pulled out the white ones from, I think, oh my god, it was from an older collection. I think it was like Bohemian Dreams or something, and the Moments from the Midnight collection. And I'm trying to place them there, but also have my photo on the card. And this photo is of a seagull, and I wanted to have that part of the photo on the card. And so what I do is I just kind of maneuver it around at an angle, sort of, so that like a lot of the photograph like kind of hangs over the card. So what I ended up doing is when I taped it down, I go ahead, like when I tape everything down, and you can see me right here, I'm cutting the excess of the photo off. And so it's kind of like the photo kind of hangs a little off the page, so that way that the title will fit. And I put the photo, the card in the pocket. That way I can put the chipboard on top of the pocket page because I prefer it on top of the pocket page and not within the pocket page. It's just a little too bulky to be inside of the plastic pocket, so that's what I'm doing here. And I think I finish off that card with like some sort of embellishment, but I think that's towards the end. Oh, so here I am pulling off some of those banner stickers from the cardstock stickers to embellish that corner there, only because it kind of looks funny that I just kind of chopped off like that part of the photograph. And so just to embellish it and just to give it a bit more interest and to move your eye across the layout. So I used some of the pink, that hot pink that occurs in that Live the Life You Love piece. And yeah, I'm just pulling out some more chipboard. I pulled out a chipboard heart just to put there as well, and I placed that on the outside of the pocket. I'm trying to make that orange work. I can explain that orange. And so I have the layout that I'm matching this pocket page to. I have it sitting off camera so I can see it. So I'm referring back to it as I'm working on this pocket page, just to make sure that I have certain elements and certain colors repeated in the pocket page. And one thing was that orange piece of paper from the Midnight collection. And so I'm cutting them into strips and tucking them into like behind the two photo clusters that I made, and just kind of ruffling up the edges so that it peeks from behind the photo. So it just gives it a little pop of that orange color. And here I think I'm trying to finish off both of those cards. I took out the enamel dots from the collection, and now I'm playing around with adding some of the clear stickers also from the collection. I mostly use Cocoa Vanilla, and it's mostly from the Midnight collection, so all of it matches. I think in my layout I use pieces from Felicity Jane, and I think most of that orangey type color is from a Felicity Jane kit, but I don't think I have any more of the paper left. And so this layout doesn't actually match this pocket page doesn't actually match the layout very well, but since some of the elements are similar, it doesn't look too funny next to each other. And so I tuck those two cards into the pockets because I'm done with them. On the bottom card, I actually used one of the cardstock stickers. I think it says "Remember This" or something like that, and I did the same sort of enamel dot, the hearts, the heart shapes, and some heart clear stickers on both, just to have a little flourish on the cards. So now I'm working on the 3x4 cards in the center, and I think I moved things around a little bit, trying to find the placing of everything. Here I am trying to build up that filler card with that piece that I cut out. Again, it says "Live the Life You Love," and I think I just taped down one of the paper frames, and then glue that to the card. I'm trying to see if there are any clear stickers that I can use, and I actually pull one out. I put down the paper first, and then I use one of the paint swatch clear stickers, and then I pulled out another one of those cardstock stickers. I think it says "Dream Big" on it, and that's it. That's the filler card. And so into the pocket it goes because it is finished, and I go ahead and work on my photo filler card, which is also super basic. It's just the photograph, and I glue that down first, and then I am using this Zig glue pen to glue down this very thin frame here. I believe this frame is like the excess from one of the frames in the ephemera pack, but I also kept it because it had like a nice little color trim, and you can use that too even if it's not really meant to be used because it's so thin. But yeah, so I just glued that down, and I'm not sure if I embellish anything here. I might have put something. Oh yes, I do. I put that little die cut, and I don't know what it says as I'm watching this video over. I think it says "Wonderful." Yeah, I think it says "Wonderful," but it brings in some of that purple, like that kind of like purplish gray. It's kind of like a lavender-y type color that you see throughout the collection. But yeah, so that's just really simple, and then I put it in the pocket and I'm done with it. Now I'm working on the last filler card, and I am using those jars. They're little mason jars, and they're filled with like kind of like a watercolory wash, and they're filled with little white hearts. And I'm playing around with deciding to use the chipboard or the cardstock or the clear stickers, because those mason jars are seen throughout this entire collection. I settled on the two cardstock, the die cuts, one of the purple ones and the light pink one. And my idea for this was to have sort of the hearts floating out, like look like they're floating out of these jars. And so if you saw, I was playing around with the different chipboard hearts and the different ephemera piece hearts. And I settled on the pink one and sort of like a kind of like whitish one, I think. I don't actually know, I play around with it a lot. And they're just there. They're kind of hovering over the top, so it kind of makes it look like they kind of floated out of the jars. And then on the jars, I used some of the clear stickers that said happy little things, I think. I ended up using two different ones, and then the little things I kind of cut in half, so it looks sort of tiered on the card. And yeah, I'm just putting down those two hearts there, and just trying to see if there are any enamel pieces that work. And I think I end up using one of the green ones on this card as well. And once that's done, it goes right into the pocket. And so now I am working on that bottom card there. I apologize that it's slightly out of frame here as I am working on it, but I am trying to get that banner on, like sort of like it goes around the corner. It's a chipboard piece, but I didn't want any of the photo peeking through, so I didn't want any of the white border or anything. So what I ended up doing was cutting off the white border there, and trying to position my piece so that you don't really see any of the photo. Now I'm trying to figure out if I should mat the photo with some of that pink and white striped paper, but I don't think I end up matting it at all. I think I just tape it right down onto the card that I'm using, and you see me here trying to fussing with it, trying to get it so that it doesn't show too much once I put that chipboard piece on top. I don't know if I put anything else on this card because I want the chipboard to be on top of the pocket page and not in it. Oh, I do look through the ephemera pack and I take out a piece. I don't know what it says. I can't see it. I'm so sorry. But I take out the piece and I layer one of the clear stickers that is of the leaves. I layer it on the back, and you can see it so well because that paper is white with like the hints of the watercolor. But I do that, and I'm taking another floral piece from the ephemera pack, and I'm gluing it there. And so hopefully it's in frame when I go to put on this banner so you can see exactly what I did. Oh, the little ephemera piece says love this, and it's in that pink so that, you know, there's more pink on the page. And here I'm just using some double-sided tape, and I'm literally putting a piece of double-sided tape on all of these little flag pieces on this piece here because it is going to sit on top of the pockets, and I want it to adhere to the plastic pocket page. And so I just kind of put that back where I wanted it to sit so that you don't see the edge of the photo. And the photo ended up being on an angle, which is fine because it sort of complements the one on the top left. And so yeah, you can see what I did here way better. So now I'm in frame, and now I'm trying to play around with positioning of these enamel hearts. They're enamel hearts, and I kind of take the card out of the pockets and put it back in the pockets because it needs to be balanced in relation to where the banner is. I give up. I put one of the enamel hearts like on top of the pocket page because I couldn't bother to take it out of the card, out of the pockets again to put it on top of the card. And so that is basically the pocket. So here I'm just cleaning up my workspace, and I eventually pull out some stamps because I know I want to do my journaling on that card, but I suck at free writing on the card without any lines. And so I figured, oh, I have some stamps that I can make lines out of for that card. So you see here, I pull out the layout so that I can see how it looks compared to the pocket page. And here I'm pulling out all my stamps and looking for the ones that I can use that has some sort of line. I pulled out one from Paige Evans, and then I pulled out the one from the Brie kit from Felicity Jane, and I ended up using that little swoosh from that Brie stamp set, and it's like a watercolor effect, and since a lot of the papers in this collection are very watercolory, I thought it was fitting. So here I'm just testing it out with some black stays on. I thought the black was a little too harsh, so I went out and got some of my colored stamp pads. I got a purple, I got this bluish color, and then I pull out some distress inks that I have. I think one was crushed velvet and the other one was mauve lavender. These are the Tim Holtz distress inks, and I ended up going with, I have no idea, and I can't tell you. I ended up going with a little reddish one, which I think is crushed velvet, and not the mauve lavender, even though either one would have worked really well. Actually, all of them would have worked really well, but I didn't use the blue because my photos are very heavily blue, so I thought that would be too distracting. I wanted something that would blend in, but I don't think the one that I ended up using blends in very well. So I alternate between a heavy stamp and a light, and like the second stamp, I don't know what that's called, to make my lines. And once I do that, I go ahead and do very brief journaling because I really don't like how my handwriting looks on my scrapbooks, and so I'm just kind of summarizing what these photos are about, which is literally scenes from California. I think that's what I ended up writing, and just saying that I took these photos when I went to California with my friend for Disneyland, Dapper Day, and yeah, so that is this pocket page. I really hope you enjoyed this process. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!